Disney's latest movie Encanto is out in theaters, but it probably would have been better enjoyed at home. Now that sounds mean, but to tell you the truth, if I had to choose between watching Raya or Encanto on the big screen, I think I'd take Raya almost every time, even if I do think Encanto is the better movie. Taking place in the fictional land of Colombia, Disney yet again shows off its amazing ability to copy the vibe and spirit of a location, then turn it into a Disney product for a mass market, giving you the same thing with a new coat of paint. And I'm sad to say, I still eat this shit up. The film is about Mirabel, the only normal person in a family full of X-Men, thanks to a miraculous candle that blesses each and every member of the family with magical powers. We got super strength, super hearing, shape-shifting, plant control, and pulling this guy. Everyone in this magical house is special except for Mirabel, but in spite of that, she looks for her own place to shine, and it's up to her to save the family and the magic before it's too late. This being a Disney film, of course it's about family. Overall, I would call Encanto a thoroughly enjoyable flick, with great animation, music by Alexander Hamilton himself, and filled to the brim with fun characters whose names I don't remember. Except for Felix, he's perfect. And Isabella, for reasons. And Luisa, for the same reasons. Now, Encanto is a film that I could describe as functional, but not always engaging. My mind did tend to wander a bit while watching this film, but when people were singing or talking about their feelings, I got sucked back into it. It's those in-between acts, though, where I start to drift. It's a movie about family, with a large cast of characters who you get fun moments with and a good idea of just roughly who they are. But out of everyone, you kind of only get to really know 5 of them, and only 3 are actually important to the story. And sometimes this film really does feel like a game of show and tell, which isn't always to this film's benefit, because the main plot of the story is kind of treading water a lot of the time, which I think is the biggest problem with the film, because it is enjoyable. I do really like the music, but people will talk a whole lot about how something feels different, how something's wrong, the muscle queen is losing her strength, but then she goes off to her room and a couple jokes are made about it. This film doesn't really have that sense of crisis till the last 30 minutes. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Mirabel's whole goal in this film isn't to solve a problem, it's technically to figure out how to solve the problem, which leads her to her sister, which leads her to a prophecy that leads her to her other sister, causing the pacing of the film to feel like it's stopping and starting constantly. It doesn't have that sense of urgency to really keep pushing the film forward like, say, Frozen, where we have a clear goal of stopping the eternal winter, which involves helping Elsa, which evolves into climbing a mountain, which then leads to fighting an ice monster, which then leads to saving Anna's life, before the ending is just them punching Hans in the face. Overall, the goal is the same, but smaller conflicts pop up that really build a sense of progression and keep your mind from wandering, as you have to think about each new problem that gets brought forward, as you get to think about each new issue that the hero has to face. Encanto, in contrast, presents the problem. The house is losing its magic and the candle is going to go out. This mystery is then tied to the siblings. Rather than there being a challenge for Mirabel to overcome to get them to help her, she kind of just asks, they sing about it, and she just learns what she needs before having to go to the next one. Rinse and repeat till the third act where shit gets real. It definitely is setting up the reveal for the third act, what really is causing the house to be like this. But while watching, it really does feel like a game of musical show and tell where you're getting to meet all these different family members, and that doesn't always feel like it's pushing the plot forward. You could rearrange some of these songs without losing anything. A song that happens in the beginning of the film could have been at the start, and you really wouldn't notice the difference, which is kind of a problem, because yes, I am enjoying this song, I am enjoying this moment, this animation. Those musical numbers often feel adjacent to the main plot rather than being directly connected to it. This movie is a combination of mystery and slice of life, and it can't really pull off that balance. Like a cute slice of life film like Luca can get away with having minimal plot, but Encanto wants to have both, and it kind of suffers for it. This honestly would probably break the movie for me if the songs weren't so fun. Yes, the music is good, which is a statement that should shock no one. Fusing Latin vibes with your typical Disney soundtrack, this film is full of bops that, combined with the amazing visuals and dance choreography, will delight anyone. Lin-Manuel Miranda is a really good songwriter. I wouldn't have expected anything less. But if you put a gun to my head when I left the theater, I actually think I still prefer the Vivo soundtrack to this one. The songs are good, and I know someone's definitely gonna think I'm crazy, but I predict this soundtrack will be on in the background more than people sitting down to listen. Honestly, I think it's just missing that one standout song that will break the replay button. A Stronger Than You, if you will. They're all good, but I can't really say that one was any better than the other outside of minor personal preference. While I'm here, I also have to applaud Disney for putting a bigger spotlight on cultures and countries that don't usually get a lot of focus in the mainstream media. The whole film is a love letter to Colombia and its culture, which I think is pretty cool, especially with the inclusion of Afro-Latinos being pretty huge as they're ignored in a lot of other pieces of media. Because colorism is a bitch and still hanging around. Having that extra representation is huge, and it's nice to see a family with this much variety in it, instead of looking like they're just clones of each other. Overall, I thought this movie was really fun. Perfect for the whole family. Personally, I would have preferred to watch this at home on Disney Plus away from your god-awful kids, but it was still worth the price of admission, and I can't wait to watch it again on Disney Plus in a month. This film is better than Raya, just a below Luca. Check it out if you have the chance. I'm gonna just talk about spoilers for a little bit, and I'm about to go into spoilers though, so clear out if you want to go into this blind. That's your one and only spoiler warning. I'm not saying it again. Okay, good. I would sleep with all these people, except for the grandma. She can go fuck herself.